Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances, featuring exclusive buyer speed figures and expert analysis and selections. Go to drf.com/best and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the 50-cent late pick 4 at Saratoga on Saturday with the Grade 2 Jim Dandy Stakes, 3-year-olds going 1 1/8 miles. Now, usually the Jim Dandy is a prep for the Travers. This year might very well be a prep for the Preakness. Before we get to the analysis, head on over to the DRF Saratoga handicapping shop. Past performances, picks, clocker reports, betting strategies, all for you. They're the must-have tools to win big at Saratoga. Learn more at drf.com/spa. Here's the field for the Grade 2 $150,000 Jim Dandy Stakes. Todd Pletcher. Feels like old times, Mike. He's got the 2 favorites in the Jim Dandy, the 6 Dr. Post, the 1 Happy Savor.
Yeah, it does feel like old times a little bit. They're both good 3-year-old colts too, Dan. Happy Savor's got all the upside, and Dr. Post a little more accomplished than his stablemate.
Mike, we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Do you believe the red bar scenario? I'm not sure in this field. It's not exactly a big field. I know Celtic Striker's fast out of there. I know that Jesus's team is adding blinkers, but it's not like Jesus's team is some need-to-lead blazer. And certainly horses like Dr. Post, Mystic Guide, these are horses that don't need the lead. Do you think they'll be going that fast up front? I agree Celtic Striker will make the front.
Yeah, I agree he'll make the front as well. How fast he goes is another question. I guess we'll see if anybody pushes him, Dan. It feels like, predicting fast paces around the New York races, especially going routes, it's a recipe for disaster. They never go fast.
The number 1 is Happy Savor. He's kind of the other Pletcher horse in this race because he's so lightly raced. And when you watch him run, he's just all potential. He's still learning. He's 2 for 2. He was able to stretch out successfully over this track and trip last time out. Let's watch that non-winners of one other than race. He was in behind horses and asked for run on the turn. And you see he drifted very wide into the stretch. Irad's working on him. He's now drifting inward. He's still figuring out exactly what he's doing. But he's winning, and he's winning fast with a 96 buyer. He might still have a lot of upside.
Yeah, I think that he does, Dan. He won his debut in very fast time, going 7 furlongs. They stretched him out. Listen, he has a good pedigree to stretch out. It was no surprise that he got the distance last time. But boy, he looked good winning that race again, especially once he got straightened out. He's still a little green. He's still figuring out how to play this game. But once he got straightened out, he really finished in there. This horse has tons of upside.
Reformed maiden claimer Live Your Beast Life is the number 2, and he also has a victory at this distance, at this meet. Let's watch his non-winners of one other then against older horses on August the 12th, and we see him in the lead right now in the yellow and blue silks, and he's going to work very, very hard. I thought this was a game performance, especially considering the last 16th of a mile. He's showing some stamina.
Yeah, that the horse, the 4 there, Little Commissioner, was bearing down on him. He was the favorite of the race, and he just sort of put that horse away and ran clear to the finish. He ran well in there, I thought, and he sort of tipped his hand 2 back, Dan. That was a really good performance, underrated performance 2 back at Belmont. He went a fast pace in there, and a closer came and got him at the end, but that was a really good effort.
First Line, the number 3, is yet another horse that's won at 1 1/8 miles at Saratoga this summer. Just took his maiden on July the 29th. Let's watch that performance right now. There has always been a little bit of buzz about this horse. He was finally dismissed at 12-1. The fans had enough. Orlando Noda knew what he was doing. He stretched this horse out. He got First Line up close to the pace, and this horse is really game to keep going.
It is a game performance the first time. They got him around 2 turns, and he certainly improved in the race. All of our Orlando Notice horses have improved up here at Saratoga. He's having a great meet. They even tinkered with the idea of running this horse on the Travers right off of that wind, and cooler heads prevailed, and they didn't go there. They're going to run him here. He still looks like he's in tough to make.
Connections have done a really nice job with the 4 Jesus's team. This is a horse that was actually dangled for $25,000 at Gulfstream Park back in May, and now he's a stakes-placed runner. Let's go back to the Haskell 2 starts back, a race in which Dr. Post was in there. You see Jesus's team down inside of Dr. Post, who is moving into 3rd right now. Dr. Post ran well from off the pace. This was a race where the pace obviously held up. Jesus' team is giving no quarter, and he came back with yet another game performance behind the promising Pneumatic in the Pegasus.
Yeah, he did come back and actually run pretty well last time in the Pegasus. Listen, he was never really going to win the Haskell, as you mentioned, a pace-dominated race against better horses, but he ran fine in there, and he improved last time. Based on speed figures, he's got a shot at this race, and he's going to be a price.
Are you concerned about the 1.125 with him? I know he was making up ground last time out in the Pegasus, but I wonder if that was just a case of kind of Pneumatic being eased up a little bit, and maybe Pneumatic also being a little bit short as he prepped for the Preakness.
Yeah, I would worry about distance with this horse too. Obviously, you worry about him stepping up as well, but this isn't the strongest field in the world. I'd be more worried about the distance.
Celtic Striker earned a stakes victory in a match race. The easy goer 2 starts back going one turn where he was able to get to the lead. Let's watch his Peter Pan where he's in against Mystic Guide, and he was part of the pace in here. And as they turn into the stretch of the Peter Pan, Celtic Striker is going to be sitting in second in between horses. Mystic Guide is on the outside. Mystic Guide is going to come with a decent enough run. Celtic Striker tires. Mystic Guide runs third.
Yeah, Celtic Striker, I guess he ran pretty well in the Peter Pan, Dan, all things considered. I mean, the pace was actually pretty quick early, and he chased it. He did his best in there. He's just really not that kind of horse. They've tried him in several other stakes races outside of that easy goer where, he just had all the best of it. He just really hasn't classed up yet. He's got a lot to prove in races like this.
And it will be interesting to see if he can get the lead and slow the pace down. I think they'll be going a fair pace, and that could perhaps work against Celtic Striker just a little bit. He might be a bit class compromised. Dr. Post is one of the big names in this race. Second in the Belmont, 2 starts back. Third in the Haskell. He has taken on the big boys. This is some class relief for him. And if that red bar pace scenario is right, it helps Dr. Post because he'll stay the 9, and he needs some pace up front. He's a true late runner.
Yeah, he's just the horse to beat in this race, just based on what he's done so far this year. And we'll see what happens. His connection certainly could have run him in the Derby, Dan. They elected not to do that, and they're going to run here and then I think point for the Preakness. But he certainly wouldn't have been impossible in the Derby, at least as far as contenders outside of the favorite in that race go. Running him here, it feels like they probably made the right move with him. His Haskell was fine, all things considered. I thought his Belmont was actually a really strong effort, finishing second to Tizzla.
I think Mystic Guide's a sleeper in here. This horse has a beautiful pedigree. It's too early to give up on him in terms of pedigree. And I think that Michael Stidham, a very sharp trainer, is putting the blinkers on. They try to get him into the race a little bit sooner. Last time in the Peter Pan, he was down inside entering the turn. He had to alter course very sharply to the far outside. And he came with a little bit of a run at the end of that race behind 2 horses that got the jump on him. I think Mystic Guide is going the right way. And I think he's going to give an improved performance on Saturday.
I do too. I think he's one of the more interesting horses in here. We'll see what happens. The other good thing about him too, Dan, is you're going to get him at a price this time. He's not going to be the favorite. He's been the favorite in all 4 of his starts. He will not be today. I was concerned about his last race because he just got so far back early, and I was wondering why that was. But he actually put in a pretty good run through the stretch of that race. I agree with you. This is a dangerous horse in here.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Jim Dandy Stakes. Dr. Post is the horse to beat, especially if the pace is fast. He's going to be the favorite at post time with the other Todd horse, Happy Savor, nipping at his heels, mutually speaking. I'm curious to see what we get from Jesus's team. Personally, if I'm Luis Saez, I'd send him. I'd try to make the front with the addition of blinkers. I'd try to make Celtic Striker take a seat, and maybe that would help this horse navigate the 1.125. He'll be a good price, but Dr. Post is the horse to beat.
Yeah, he is the horse to beat. I almost put Mystic Guide on top because I remain a fan of his, and I do think he deserves one more chance. I chalked it out with Dr. Post, but I'll use a lot of the 7 as well.
6 and 7 for Mike. I'm going 4-1-7-6. It's the Grade 2 Jim Dandy. It's race number 9 on Woodward Saturday at the Spa, and it has an approximate post of 4:21 Eastern. Best of luck.